Hey everyone, Pat with QSA here.
Hi, I'm Selena.
And we're just coming to you with a quick video and kind of breaking down the mayoral debate. So it was last week, you said, right?
On the 8th, April 8th.
I feel like so much more time has passed. So this is a little delayed coming out to you, but I wanted to break down the mayoral debate. I was there live. Selena was not able to make it live, but she was able to watch it and kind of give her breakdown and her thoughts about it. So here we are. So let's just start off with, what did you think overall about the debate?
I thought it was good. We got some good information. I think it was very clear who has political experience and who doesn't. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of does, unfortunately, it plays a big role, I feel. I think this kind of debate made a clear division.
Yeah, and I kind of don't think it swung the pendulum one way or the other too much. Yeah. I do have, though, the two picks that I believe came out the strongest. I don't think there were any surprises. I think the questions that were asked maybe could have been a little bit more specific. What did you think about the questions?
I thought the questions they asked, you're right, they were very broad, and so I feel their answers were very broad. Mm-hmm. And so you're right. If they would have been more specific, I felt it could have. Because I felt like she threw like the Project Marvel question in with like a whole bunch of other questions. Yeah. But I feel like Project Marvel in itself should have its own, I think.
And speaking of Project Marvel, I know that's a debatable topic as well. And all the candidates were asked about Project Marvel. I did like the answer from Manny. Mm-hmm. I think his was probably the strongest in terms of saying, look, unless if it doesn't go to specific neighborhoods, the Spurs could build their own dang arena, pretty much is what he said. And a lot of them were kind of neutral. A lot of them kind of want to know, are taxpayer dollars going to be used? What's going to happen? And so forth. So that was an interesting one. Again, the debate question, I think, could have been a little bit more specific. And I was disappointed that they didn't address questions in the audience. Beforehand, when you registered, you were able to list questions to ask the candidates. None of those questions were addressed from the audience. So I thought that would have been something that would have helped kind of persuade or separate the candidates even further had there been some unscripted questions from the audience.
I agree.
And so in terms of who we thought won, I think Manny came out the strongest.
I agree.
I think he's very charismatic, and I think that plays into his ability to persuade voters. What do you think?
Yeah, and I just thought his knowledge with the law, because he's a lawyer, so his knowledge to me it seems to fight smarter, not just kind of forcefully in your way, because in order to get things done, you have to kind of play smart. And I think him knowing the law, knowing kind of what battle is worth the fight, helps in his favor.
Yeah. And Rolando Paul was there in the background there, the video. He seemed a little too laid back. I don't know, what are your thoughts in the debate? A lot of which was interesting because some of the moderator was like real specific about, hey, 30-second answer, and he literally would give like a 30-second answer. He never went over his time, really. So I thought that was kind of funny.
He's kind of like a grandpa. Like, I think he's just real sweet and just kind of wants to like play nice. But unfortunately, I don't think we need somebody who's not so nice, I think.
He wasn't as prominent in terms of standing out. John Courage stood out. He came out like real feisty.
He came out fighting.
He came out fighting. He attacked Beto a lot, and Beto was literally right next to him, to the right of him. So that was interesting. And I don't feel like Beto really stood up to him. I felt like there were times when Beto he wanted to say something back or rebuttal, but either the time didn't allow it or he just didn't get a jab in otherwise. So I felt like a lot of jabs were thrown. Beto stood his own. There wasn't anything, again, that really surprised me or really stood out. And let's see, Melissa came out feisty.
I thought Beto had some good points, though. Like, I thought the accountability, I thought he had more ideas on how to be more, I guess, focus more on accountability. Like the whole yearly evaluations for the city manager. I think that really should have been done a long time ago. I didn't realize that wasn't already done, because I get yearly evaluations at my job. Like,
everyone gets evaluations.
Exactly. Apparently, except for a city manager.
To make sure you're accountable and that you're doing your job, right?
Yeah.
And I think all the questions, the city manager did come up in the debate too as well. Mm-hmm. And oddly, I think most of them all kind of gave neutral answers, right? Like, John Courage was the only one who was like, he's a great guy, he's a nice guy, I go to him all the time. But I think the majority of them did agree with accountability, but they didn't write out, say anything negative about him.
No, I think was it Gina that had said, one of them made it sound like they had no idea Project Marvel, and I didn't either. And
Yeah.
so that was held. They made it seem like the city manager is kind of withholding some information. I felt that's the feeling I got back from the.
Well, I think a lot of citizens feel that way. I didn't really know about it till recently, and it seems like it's only because they need the votes to keep it for it to go forward. And now all of a sudden they're trying to pitch it, and so most of these candidates are pretty neutral on Project Marvel. By the way, you know, some of them really didn't give a really yes or no answer, right? I don't think. So other than that, I mean, it was okay. Again, no big surprises. I think Manny came out the top for me. John Courage was pretty feisty. The rest of them, I think, didn't really do much to their campaign or hurt themselves. And what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about Gina Ortiz and your issues with her, but I thought she actually presented herself very well. I felt Manny was stronger, and so that's why I came out with Manny, but I do understand why Gina seems to be leading. She did seem to have some really good points.
And I think that's pretty much it. Do you think, is there a dark horse in mind in the race for you? Anyone who you think could come up from behind?
There's too many. I don't know. I can't focus.
So there are a lot of candidates. Who is your pick? Who do you want to win? Do you have an idea? Do you even know who these candidates are still? Or are you still debating? Watch the debate. It's on YouTube. You can take a look at it. You can find it if you need a rundown of what these candidates expect to do or want to do for the city. So Fiesta's around the corner. May 3rd is voting. Next week is early voting. So take advantage of that, especially if you're going to be going out to Fiesta and you're going to be a little preoccupied.
Hey, is early voting at the public libraries?
I believe so.
So go to Fiesta and then go to early voting. Right there, walk to the downtown public library.
Well, don't wait, because I feel like there's a lot of question about voter fatigue. So,
no, but I'm talking about the early voting is during Fiesta. So go to go to the little market square and then walk on over after you've had a few drinks.
Go vote and then go have a few drinks and celebrate Fiesta.
I said go drink and then vote, but I guess you can do it the other way.
Well, if you drink and then vote, there's 27 names in the ballot. You want to make sure they press the right one. They're like, oh, wait a minute, I meant to press that one, not that one. So make sure you're able to function, because you're gonna have to read through all these names.
Yeah, that's true.
And you want to make sure.
They said it's gonna be like 3 pages.
It's crazy. 27 candidates. So, all right. Well, that's our wrap up. Long video. Apologize, but definitely want you to go out and vote. Stay tuned to QSA. We keep asking the questions that matter to